The twin moons hung low over the dense, emerald canopy of a jungle alive with unfamiliar sounds. Bright hues of bioluminescent plants painted the undergrowth with ghostly light, and the air was thick with the cries of unseen creatures. Deep within this alien wilderness lay a wounded figure, her shimmering skin faintly reflecting the soft glow of her surroundings. She was a princess from a world far more advanced than the earth she now lay stranded upon. Her people, once loyal, had turned against her in an act of treachery that still seared her mind with pain. The royal court, corrupted by greed and fear, had sought to secure power by aligning themselves with her rival. Betrayal culminated in her exile, and the once proud leader now lay broken amidst the foliage, her regal garments torn and streaked with blood and dirt. Her breaths came shallow, each one a labor. The jungle, though mesmerizing in its beauty, was unforgiving. Predators prowled its shadows, and even the plants seemed to whisper threats. Exhausted and betrayed, she closed her eyes, resigned to her fate. But destiny had other plans. Far from the depths of the jungle, a lone human trudged through the wilderness, his boots crunching against the fallen leaves. Alex was a wanderer, a man who sought solace in the wild places of the world, far from the chaos of cities. Armed with a machete and a survival pack, he had ventured into the uncharted expanse of the jungle for reasons even he couldn't fully articulate, perhaps to escape, or perhaps to find himself. As he hacked through a particularly dense thicket, a flash of light caught his eye. He froze. The light was unlike anything he had seen before, a soft, ethereal glow that pulsated faintly in the distance. Curiosity tugged at him, and he veered off his path, moving cautiously toward the source. What he found stopped him in his tracks. A figure lay crumpled on the forest floor, surrounded by glowing plants. At first, he thought she might be a hallucination. Her skin was a luminous silver, her hair cascading in waves of soft gold that seemed to defy the natural order of things. But the blood on her arms and legs was unmistakable, as was the faint rise and fall of her chest. "Hey," he called out, his voice breaking the jungle's eerie silence. She didn't respond. Dropping to his knees, Alex examined her injuries. Deep gashes marred her arms, and her breathing was weak. Whoever or whatever she was, she needed help. He rummaged through his pack, pulling out a first aid kit, and began tending to her wounds as best he could. As he worked, her eyes fluttered open. They were unlike anything Alex had ever seen, large, luminous, and filled with a sorrow that seemed to pierce his very soul. "You're safe," he murmured, unsure if she could even understand him. Her lips moved, forming words in a language he didn't recognize, melodic and alien. For days, Alex cared for her in the makeshift shelter he built. Her recovery was slow, and her strength returned in fragments. She began to trust him, and though their languages were different, they found ways to communicate through gestures and expressions. He learned her name, a sound that was more like a song than a word, and she learned his. Bit by bit, she revealed her story. Through sketches in the dirt and occasional words from Alex's limited knowledge of linguistics, he pieced together the tale of her betrayal. Her people, once advanced and noble, had grown corrupt. A coup had ousted her, leaving her stranded on this strange planet. Alex listened with a mixture of disbelief and awe. He couldn't fathom the level of betrayal she had endured, nor could he understand the kind of world she came from. But what he did understand was the raw emotion in her voice, the pain of being cast aside, the loneliness of exile. As the days turned to weeks, they grew closer. Alex admired her resilience, her ability to adapt to a world so unlike her own. She, in turn, was fascinated by his resourcefulness and kindness. Together, they navigated the perils of the jungle, from venomous creatures to sudden storms that could wash away entire sections of their camp. But danger loomed closer. Unbeknownst to them, the alien princess's enemies had not forgotten her. They had sent a hunter, a ruthless being programmed to ensure her demise. One fateful night, the jungle's usual symphony of sounds fell silent. Alex awoke to the sensation of eyes upon him, and the princess stirred as if sensing the same. They had only moments to prepare before the hunter emerged from the shadows. It was a towering figure, its body sleek and metallic, its eyes glowing like burning coals. Without hesitation, it attacked, its razor-sharp appendages slicing through the air. Alex fought valiantly, wielding his machete with desperation, but it was the princess who turned the tide. Despite her weakened state, she summoned a hidden strength, unleashing a burst of energy that sent the hunter crashing into a tree. The battle was fierce, but together they prevailed. The hunter lay in ruins, its once menacing form now a heap of smoldering metal. The encounter strengthened their bond and reinforced their determination to survive. But the princess knew that staying on Earth was no longer safe. With Alex's help, she began to piece together a device from the wreckage of the hunter, a beacon that could signal her loyalists, those who might still stand against the coup. The day she activated the beacon was bittersweet. She knew it meant leaving behind the man who had saved her, the one who had shown her that kindness and loyalty could still exist in the most unexpected places. When her ship finally arrived, Alex stood at the edge of the clearing, watching as she ascended the ramp. She turned one last time, her luminous eyes meeting his. Though no words were spoken, the look they shared conveyed everything they felt, a bond forged in the face of adversity, unbreakable even by the vastness of the cosmos. And then she was gone, leaving Alex alone in the jungle, staring at the stars. Yet, in his heart, he knew their paths would cross again. Months passed since the princess departed, yet Alex found himself haunted by memories of her. He had returned to civilization, though he never quite fit back into the rhythm of human life. The mundane tasks of daily living felt hollow compared to the shared battles in the jungle. He often wandered the outskirts of the forest, staring at the night sky, wondering if she ever thought of him. Life, however, marched forward. Alex took up work as a wilderness guide, channeling his expertise into helping others navigate the same terrain that had once been his sanctuary. He kept the princess's memory alive through sketches in a journal, a keepsake of a story too unbelievable to share with anyone else. Meanwhile, light years away, the princess had reclaimed her throne. Loyalists had rallied to her side, and with their support, she had overthrown the corrupt regime that sought her death. Her homeworld, once teetering on the edge of collapse, was slowly healing under her leadership. Yet, amidst her triumphs, she couldn't shake the memory of the human who had risked everything to save her. His courage, resourcefulness, and unwavering kindness lingered in her mind. The political advisors of her court urged her to focus on rebuilding their empire, but her heart told her otherwise. She owed Alex more than gratitude. She owed him the truth. One evening, as Alex sat on a hill overlooking the jungle, the night sky erupted with light. A streak of silver and gold arced across the heavens, growing brighter as it descended. He stood, heart pounding, recognizing the phenomenon all too well. The ship landed with a gentle hum, its sleek design glinting in the moonlight. The ramp lowered, and there she was, as radiant and regal as ever. "You came back," Alex whispered, his voice barely audible over the ship's soft vibrations. "I had to," she replied, her voice filled with warmth. Though her words were now translated through a small device she wore, the emotion in her tone was unmistakable. The princess explained her victory and the rebuilding of her world. She thanked Alex for teaching her the strength that came from compassion, a lesson that had guided her leadership. But her visit was not merely one of gratitude. "I want to show you my world," she said, her eyes glowing with anticipation. "You saved me, Alex. Now let me give you a chance to see the stars." The offer stunned him. He had spent so long tethered to the earth, feeling out of place, yet never imagining he could leave. After a moment's hesitation, he nodded. Their voyage was nothing short of awe-inspiring. Alex marveled at the vastness of space, the beauty of nebulae, and the distant glimmers of alien worlds. The princess's homeworld was a masterpiece of advanced civilization, with towering crystalline structures, floating gardens, and skies filled with shimmering colors. Yet beneath its beauty lay scars from the recent upheaval. The princess showed him the remnants of the rebellion, the devastation wrought by her enemies. She spoke of her plans to restore her people's faith and rekindle the values of unity and honor. Alex, with his pragmatic earthborn perspective, became an unexpected advisor. He offered simple yet profound insights, helping her navigate complex political dilemmas. The court, though initially skeptical of the human, began to respect him for his wisdom and courage. Just as peace seemed within reach, a new threat emerged. A faction of exiled rebels had joined forces with an ancient enemy of the princess's people. Their combined strength posed a dire threat not only to her world, but to nearby star systems as well. Alex, unwilling to stand idly by, volunteered to help. Though he lacked the technology and combat training of her soldiers, his ingenuity and tactical thinking proved invaluable. Together, they devised a plan to infiltrate the enemy's stronghold and dismantle their operations from within. The mission was perilous. Alex and the princess, along with a team of her elite guards, faced countless dangers, from labyrinthine corridors guarded by sentient drones to biochemical traps designed to incapacitate intruders. At one critical moment, Alex found himself separated from the group. Trapped in a chamber rapidly filling with toxic gas, he used a trick he had learned in the jungle, creating a makeshift filtration system from his clothing and nearby materials. His resourcefulness saved his life, and he rejoined the team just in time to deliver a key blow to the enemy's defenses. The rebels were defeated, and the alliance between them and the ancient enemy was shattered. The princess's world and the surrounding systems were safe once more. But Alex knew his time among the stars was drawing to a close. Despite the bond he shared with the princess, he felt the pull of Earth, a reminder that his place was among his own kind. As he prepared to leave, the princess stood with him on the ship's observation deck, the stars stretching endlessly before them. "You've changed my life, Alex," she said softly. "Not just by saving me, but by showing me a different way to lead, to trust, to hope." "You've changed mine too," he replied. "I never thought I'd see so much, or feel like I belong somewhere so far from home." They shared a final embrace, the weight of unspoken words between them. Alex returned to Earth, but he was no longer the same man. He carried with him the knowledge of the universe's vastness, the memories of a world so different from his own, and the quiet hope that he might one day see her again. The princess, back on her throne, often gazed at the night sky, her thoughts drifting to the human who had taught her the strength of compassion. Though separated by light years, they remained connected by an unbreakable bond, a story of survival, trust, and the resilience of the human and alien spirit. Months turned to years, but the connection between Alex and the princess never faded. Alex found himself drawn back to the wild, spending weeks at a time in the jungle that had once been their sanctuary. He would stare at the stars, wondering if she still thought of him, if she still remembered the bond they had forged. Unbeknownst to Alex, the princess had never stopped searching for a way to be with him again. Her duties as a ruler were immense, but her heart always pulled her toward Earth. She had grown determined to find a solution, one that would allow them to bridge the divide between their worlds. One evening, as Alex sat beside a crackling fire deep in the jungle, the sky came alive with light. A familiar streak of silver and gold descended, bathing the forest in an otherworldly glow. This time, he wasn't surprised. He rose to his feet, heart pounding with anticipation. The ship landed softly, and as the ramp descended, she emerged, her luminous figure framed by the ship's radiant interior. But this time, she was not alone. Behind her stood a team of her most trusted scientists and advisors. They carried with them a device, an intricate, crystalline artifact that shimmered like liquid light. The princess approached Alex, her expression both hopeful and resolute. "I couldn't stay away," she said, her voice trembling with emotion. "But I know the life I lead isn't one you can follow forever. So I've brought a gift." She gestured to the artifact, which pulsed faintly in the twilight. "This is a union stone," she explained. "It's a relic of ancient science and magic, capable of harmonizing the essence of two beings. With it, you can join me in my world without losing yourself, or I can join you in yours. Alex's breath caught in his throat. The choice she offered was monumental. His life on Earth was simple but familiar, while her world was a boundless expanse of wonder and challenge. For hours, they talked by the fire, weighing their options. The princess assured Alex that she could step away from the throne, trusting her advisors to lead in her absence. Alex, in turn, considered whether he could truly leave behind everything he had ever known. In the end, they realized the answer lay not in one world or the other, but in both. They decided to use the Union Stone to create a bond that would allow them to traverse both realms together. The princess would maintain her role as a leader, but she would spend part of her time on Earth, sharing Alex's life and exploring the simple joys he held dear. The following evening, under the light of the jungle's twin moons, the ceremony took place. The Union Stone was placed between them, its light enveloping their forms. Alex felt a surge of warmth and energy, as if the stars themselves were coursing through his veins. The princess, too, felt the connection deepen, their souls entwining in a way that transcended words. When the light faded, they stood hand in hand, forever changed. In the years that followed, Alex and the princess built a life that straddled two worlds. On Earth, they roamed the wild places, sharing their love of nature and simplicity. Alex introduced her to the quiet pleasures of humanity, campfires under the stars, the taste of fresh fruit, the laughter of children playing. In her world, Alex became a trusted advisor, his human perspective offering wisdom that often solved disputes and strengthened alliances. The people, once skeptical of their bond, came to admire the human who had saved their princess and helped secure peace for their realm. As time passed, their love became a symbol of unity between their worlds. Ambassadors from Earth and the princess's people began exchanging knowledge and culture, forging a bond that promised a brighter future for both civilizations. Alex and the princess, now legends in their own right, continued their journey together, proving that love could bridge even the vastest distances. One quiet evening, as they sat on a hillside overlooking the jungle, Alex took her hand in his. "Do you think the stars ever get tired of shining?" he asked with a smile. She leaned her head against his shoulder, her eyes reflecting the infinite expanse above. "Never," she replied softly. "Just like I'll never get tired of being with you." And under the eternal light of the stars, they remained, two souls, bound by love, living a story that would be told across galaxies for generations to come.